Are you a chronic book collector that loves the vibes of having books, but struggles to ever actually pick them up and read them? Well, you came to the right place, because as a reformed one of those, I'm here to help you and give you tips and tricks. Forget the intro, something more exciting has happened. This is my third cat, Fade. I do have all black cats, so it's probably hard to tell who is who, but this is Fade. She's never been on the channel before, so everyone say hello. She's graced us with her presence. Hi. She's a little bit more shy than Ty and Gigi, so this is a very exciting moment. She's probably just here to chomp on my book pages, but that's okay. You know what? Whatever she wants to do, we're gonna let her. Nope, she's standing on my computer. Hey, can we not do that? You know what? I keep restarting this intro because I can't exactly decide what I want to say, and I keep getting distracted by cats. So you know what? The breakdown is SparkNotes version. I forgot how to read.
I can't read.
For a while. And it was really sad and annoying because I never stopped loving books. So I kept on collecting and just felt more and more guilty about spending money on something that I wasn't even using. And also, you felt my brain turning into mush. The brain stew was truly just pouring out of my ears because I had no real thoughts. I had no way of logically thinking about anything because I just would come home, stare at a screen, go to sleep, go to work, come home, the same exact thing. Nothing in my life meant anything because I was so addicted to screens at the time. It sucked a lot. So I wanted to talk about that today and also provide some tips that might help other people, because often when I would at the time look up how to read, please help me read, please God, I can't read anymore, I don't know how. It would be the same stuff like set a schedule, make yourself do all these things that I struggled to do because my brain's a little bit more on the ADHD side. So planning stuff, I love to do it. I love to make a plan. This computer right here, full of plans. Do I ever do them? No, because my brain does not fear missing a deadline. It actually loves to miss a deadline because then I don't have to worry about it anymore. Or it only likes to do things on the due date. Due dates suck because I'm just like, oh, so I do them on that date, right? No, and I don't want to be that person, but it's just how my brain works. So a lot of these tips didn't necessarily work for me. So I'm just going to talk about my journey and how I learned how to read again, basically. I wanted to have the cute outfit be the star of the show, but it's too cold. So we now have the heated blanket. Very important. And honestly, the cats might want to sit up here more if I have the heated blanket. I have ulterior motives. With that, welcome back to the Babbling Bimbo podcast, a place for me to talk about all kinds of things depending on what day it is. Today it happens to be reading, because I do love reading now that I know how to do it again. So first of all, why should we even care about reading? Is it something that is outdated? Do we need it anymore? Can't we just get all of our information from our phones and computers? Well, yes, but you still have to read on those. So either way, reading is a pretty pertinent skill if you ask me. And something that really inspired me was realizing that Americans have 7th or 8th grade reading level. And since I hadn't read in a couple years at that point, I was like, oh my God, that's probably me. And it was really embarrassing. So that drive to be the best that no one ever was took over, and I was like, okay, maybe I do need to learn how to read again. I also looked up some stats because I was just curious, and there was a major study done by the University of Florida and the College of London that found that the percentage of Americans who actually read on a typical day dropped from 28% in 2003 to 16% in 2023. So that's not good. That's very concerning. And also, it does look like in that same time, we started voting worse. So those two things might be correlated. I don't know. Federal data also showed that fewer adults report actually reading any books annually, and it just keeps on decreasing every single year. And that does trickle down to children, with only about 20% of kids actually reading every single day, which is crazy because as a kid, that's all I did. Reading was my joy, but there's just so many other things to do now. There's so many distractions. And it really does just raise questions about literacy rates and how this is going to affect our ability to even run as a society, because reading is what builds critical thinking. I knew it. They love the heated blanket. If we want to be more than just blindless consumers, reading is what cultivates that. It is how we question our sources. It helps us weigh ideas. It helps us resist misinformation. Without reading, opinions are the only thing that matter, right? We don't have understanding. We just reiterate opinion. So it's very important for that critical thinking, because when you're reading something, it's not spelt out for you. When you're just watching something, you're kind of having everything spelled out for you. But when you're reading a book, you really have to think and understand what the writer is trying to tell you. And that is just such an essential tool. Discernment is something that we all need, hands down. Doesn't matter what career you're going into. Because if we can only regurgitate and not articulate, our society truly has no chance. Because a society that reads is harder to control. This has been proven time and time again. Books are some of the first things to go when a certain group is trying to grab power, because an informed society doesn't really let things go like that. But outside of big societal reasons to read, there's some other ones. First of all, hot girls use big words. Trust me, if you are out at the club and you're pulling out some big worded insults, you're gonna be the coolest girl there. I'm so sorry. If somebody is just being an absolute dick to me and I'm like, sorry, I can no longer listen to the fatuous ramblings of this inept imp. Like, that just sounds so much cooler than saying, fuck you, bitch, which I will pull out from time and time again. To really just take them out in some big words is amazing. So we all need to read so we can learn these big words. It's also really important for developing empathy, because reading really puts us inside the lives of other people so we can understand why people make certain decisions, and it helps us have a lot more empathy for the people around us, which I think is very important. It also, for me, has created so much joy and fulfillment. There are two things in my life right now that truly fulfill me and bring me so much joy. One is finishing a YouTube video. It's like the most satisfying thing in the world. But the other is finishing a book. You finally finish, especially if it's a really long book that you've been working on for a long time, there is so much satisfaction that comes with finishing it. Unless it's something that ended with a cliffhanger and then you feel this like emptiness because you're waiting for the rest, but it still is so satisfying. You just really do feel like you've accomplished something. And it's something that I always lacked watching television shows, because I'm a chronic binger. I will finish an entire show in one night, which is why I cannot let myself watch TV before bed. I do sometimes, but I shouldn't, because I will watch an entire show in one night. It's bad. And then when I finish that, I really do just feel empty inside. I feel like there is nothing worth living for anymore. I finished this show. What am I gonna do now? Yes, I did waste all this time. But when I finish a book, I've learned something. I've gained something from this. It's amazing. One more societal reason to read is knowledge preservation. Reading is how discoveries are made. It's how we document our own mistakes. It's how we document values, wisdom. All of this stuff is held within books. So if we don't read, if we don't consume it, it's not going to be made, and we're just going to lose all of that. We have to document. So we need to read, we need to write. We could not let this one go. It's very important. And my final reason for reading is books are so fun to collect. Oh my gosh. They look how pretty these are. They just look so good. Nothing looks better than a book as decor, and I am fully convinced of this. Especially when you start collecting fancy hardbacks. Oh my gosh. It truly becomes an addiction. So maybe that isn't good, because I'm always talking about how consumerism is bad. Ugh, maybe I'm the problem. Wow. You know what? You can't win them all. You can't win all the battles. Consumerism is bad unless it's books. Just kidding. It's definitely bad. A book talk is a whole other thing I could talk about, but we're not talking about that today. We're only looking at the positives. Fun to collect. Knowledge is power. All right. So now that we've talked about why reading, I want to talk about my own personal journey. I want to get real about my reading. So I think it's been 2 years since, maybe 3. What's the year? Oh my God, it's 2026. Probably about 2022 that I realized I hadn't really read in a couple years. I was buying books and I still loved talking about books, but I hadn't really read anything new. And it was really starting to infuriate me. So I decided to do all of the things. I got a Goodreads, I got a library card, and I was trying. I kept saying, oh, I'm going to read 50 books a year. Then I would lower it. I'm going to read 30 books a year. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to read 12 books a year. And you know what? We settled on one book. That first year I read one book, and you know what? That was something. It felt like a failure.
Oh my God.
But also, it was more than I'd read in the past couple of years, so I had to at least applaud that. So it made me realize that I needed to set more realistic expectations, because just expecting myself to be able to read 50 books after not reading for a couple years was crazy, because I hadn't stretched that muscle. So it was like trying to do a split after not stretching for a couple years. It just wasn't going to happen. So I had to be realistic with my expectations. So that next year, I set the goal of 12. One book a month. That seemed plausible. And I think I read 4. No, maybe it was like 5. It was a few more. It definitely wasn't the goal that I had set for myself.
Seriously.
So I had to start making change. It is just so hard to get back into reading with a crippling social media addiction. That's me. Because there's just so many other things that I could be doing. There's so many other things. And it's so much easier to turn my brain off after work. Because I was also working some really stressful jobs at the time that made me just not want to exist. So it was very hard for me to want to sit down and read after I got off those shifts. I just wanted to turn my brain off and not think. But as the years progressed, I was able to read a lot more books in a year. I don't even know. I've been wanting to get back into Goodreads so I can actually keep track. But the past couple of years, I haven't really been using my Goodreads. I think that's one of my things I want to do this year, is so I can actually track the books that I'm reading. But it's a lot more now. It's awesome. I'm probably reading at least a book a month, maybe sometimes 2. I'm just really having fun with it again, and it's awesome. I like it. So I want to go through some of the tips and tricks that I've collected. Some of them are tips that didn't work for me, but might work for someone else. And some of the tips are the tips that did help me. So we're just going to go through them and talk about it. So if you do like schedules, find it easy to complete tasks, do that. That is so incredible. There are so many videos about people making like trackers and stuff like that. It's just not something that helped me. So, the girls are fighting. Hey guys. Uh-oh. Tai, come here. Nope, everyone's upset. That's fine. So something that I did was just giving myself 5-10 pages. That's all I wanted. Just read 5-10 pages, not setting a time limit, because I struggled with the time limit thing. The time limit never really worked for me, but having a certain amount of pages did. And I would often read more than those pages once I got into it. The key is just getting me into the reading, and then I can keep on doing it. So for me, I like doing certain pages each day, but some people do a certain amount of time. So just whatever, you got to tweak that one. You can also set a yearly reading goal. That's something that's great about Goodreads, is there's yearly challenges that you can also compete with your friends. That one was not my favorite, just because it made me feel even worse, because some of my friends can eat some books. They devour those things. One of my friends read that first year when I was like, I'm going to read 50 books. She read 150 books. And I was like, that's not me, and I can't do it. And so it was hard. Gave up pretty quick after that. So make realistic goals and don't be too hard on yourself. I honestly prefer the page numbers versus amount of books, because every book's different. So page numbers, I think, is just an easier metric to go by. Maybe I didn't read that many books a year, but I did read 10 pages a day, and that's amazing. Trust me, that's more than most people are reading. So that is an accomplishment. Another tip I have is start slow. Don't feel like you have to read traditional big 200, 300 page books for it to count. That is not true at all. You have to meet yourself where you're at. If you want to start with creepypastas, webtoons, it doesn't matter. Just read anything. If you're doing any sort of reading, you are winning, in my opinion. Reading with shorter stuff is a great way just to get yourself back into it, which for me, I actually read some mangas and that helped me get excited about reading again. Starting with this series, Watakoi. This is such a cute series. If you've never read it, highly recommend. It's office romance, very cute. Oh my gosh, truly, it makes me kick my feet and squeal. It's just so cute. And this was one of the first books that I read getting back into reading, and it just made me so excited. And once I got into it, I had to read the entire series within a week. So technically, that's like 5 books because the last one wasn't out yet. So that's something impressive, I thought. It's just so cute. So find something like that. If it's a little romance, if it's a little manga, I don't care. It doesn't have to be that serious. Just have fun with it. Reading is supposed to be fun. Also, Attack on Titan, it was before the last 2 seasons to come out, and I just really needed to know where the fuck the story was going. So I ended up reading all of the chapters from where I'd left off on the show because I just had to know. I'm very nosy. And that could be another thing. If you're watching a show that happens to have a book about it, maybe you're just nosy enough to read the rest so you know what's going on. That helped me too. I think manga and comics specifically are also really great for somebody that's dealing with social media addiction because there's so much to look at. Every single page. Come on. That's so cool. Because there is just more to look at. Your brain feels a little bit more engaged. There's less words, so it's not as hard as maybe just reading a book that's all words. Because sometimes I stare at a book page and I truly can't process what's happening. But if you add a couple pictures, all right, I can process what's happening. So I think that comics, manga, webtoons, whatever your poison is a fantastic place to start. My next tip is audiobooks. This is a big point of contention, and I know it. Some people don't consider audiobooks real reading. And I think that you can shove your real book, a big thick one, up your ass, because audiobooks are reading. Not everybody can physically read a book. There's a lot of reasons why traditional reading isn't for everyone. For example, my dad is blind. He can only read audiobooks. You want to go tell my dad that his audiobooks aren't real? He'll kick your ass. Dare you, bitch. There truly are a myriad of reasons that lead someone to not be able to read a book traditionally. Maybe it's also just hard to find time. Audiobooks are great to read while you're on the way to work. It does not discount your ability to process what is happening because you are reading or listening to the same exact words as other people that are reading that book. I don't think it discounts it in any way because no matter what, you're having to process this information and think about it logically. So how does that make it different? It's pretty much just the vehicle. Like you wouldn't say that somebody isn't eating if they're using a fork versus a spoon, right? It's just the vehicle for transportation. That's how I see audiobooks. So if that's a way for you to get back into reading, hell yeah, absolutely use audiobooks. The best thing, audiobooks are free. You don't need to pay for shit with an audiobook. Go to your local library, which first of all, go to your local library anyways. They need our support. Please, we can't lose the libraries. I love the libraries.
The library, darling. Because reading is what? Fundamental.
Go get a library card and get this app called Libby, or actually some places have different apps that you have to use, so you can ask them. But for where I'm at, Libby is a great option for audiobooks. You just enter your library card number and you have access to free books. Truly incredible. Some of them you do have to wait in line for. If it's a super popular title, you will have to wait in line for it. But you know what? That builds the anticipation. So it's okay. Oh, wait, another free source for books. This one isn't audiobooks, but Project Gutenberg has all of the classics. Any book that's over 100 years old, they have it, and you can read it for free on Project Gutenberg. So come on now. You don't have to pay for books. They are pretty, and I struggle not to pay for books. Another perk of audiobooks is sometimes they make the books better. There have been some books that I truly just enjoyed the audiobook version of, and when I tried to actually read it, I was like, The best example of this is The Fourth Wing.
Hi.
Yes, I have read the Dragon Smut books. I don't want to hear it. They're not as bad as they sound. It's just a little smutty. You know what? Comparatively speaking, it could be worse. And there is still dragons. I love dragons. And maybe Violet is a little bit of a pick-me sometimes, but you know what? I gave her a pass because she can ride a dragon. It works out. It's fine. I can't ride a dragon. So who am I to judge? So I listened to the audiobook for the first 2 books and I enjoyed it. I was like, you know what? This is a pretty compelling story. I'm having a good time. Sometimes I'm annoyed, but I'm still getting dragons and that's kind of cool. But then the 3rd book, I got the physical copy of it. Why was the writing kind of bad?
Huh?
I'm so sorry. I just didn't notice it because the narrator for the audiobooks is so good. It fixed all of the problems with the writing. But I was sitting there trying to read the 3rd one. I couldn't get through it. I think I got through maybe a quarter of it. And I was like, I just don't like this writing style at all. So I have yet to read Onyx Storm because I just cannot get into the writing. I don't know if it was always like that or if the narrator was just truly incredible. I know she was a little more rushed to write this one, so maybe it just was worse, but that writing really could not. But the audiobook was great. So sometimes audiobooks can actually be better because those narrators really put their heart and soul into it. Another tip, join a book club or like a local book challenge. If that is something that inspires you to do better, look at your local library, look at local Facebook book groups. I see book clubs all over the place. Or even online. I've seen a couple like Reddit book clubs. If you don't feel comfortable going in person, look on Reddit. But also Reddit's scary, so be careful. Actually, something I've been wanting to start up with a couple of my friends is a Discord book club. I think that would be really fun because a lot of my friends don't live near me anymore. So I think that having a virtual book club would be so fun. One time me and my friends did try to do a book club thing, but unfortunately the book that we chose was Verity, which you haven't read Verity. It's not great. Is it interesting? Yes, there's a lot happening. I was never bored per se while reading it, but I was enraged while reading it because what the fuck? It's batshit crazy. That was not the best book for book club. You were not really inspired by reading after that one. So that book club kind of fizzled out. So I want to try again, but I think that Discord would be great for it. Also at your local library, sometimes they'll do book challenges, which I've done before. And that was kind of fun. Just, it felt a lot like the Pizza Hut challenges from when I was in middle school. And I loved the Pizza Hut challenges. I would get the Pizza Hut coupon every single time because my mom would not take me to Pizza Hut unless I had the Pizza Hut coupon. I wanted to go to Pizza Hut, so I had to read all of the books. Honestly, the Pizza Hut thing was genius. You know what? That's what we need. We need Pizza Hut to do that for adults too. We need adult Pizza Hut coupons because that would get all of us to read. But can it be Domino's instead, maybe? I'm not a big Pizza Hut girl anymore. Domino's is where it's at. Speaking of the library though, sometimes just going to the library makes me read better because there's all these people around me reading. So I'm like, oh my God, I have to body double. I have to read as well. And I just don't bring my phone or computer in. So the only thing I have to do is read or stare at the wall. And reading is a little bit more fun than staring at the wall. So I usually pick that option or going to a coffee shop. Just getting out of the house and having reading be your only goal is so nice. It really is. Also, if you are checking out a book from the library, it's another incentive to finish because you only have a certain amount of time to finish. And if you don't, then you have to turn it back in and you didn't get to finish it. So it's a little bit of a, oh, I gotta do it. I gotta get on it. Because that is something that I did is when I realized that I was buying all these books and not reading them, I forced myself to stop. I was like, you know what? You cannot buy any new books. I was allowed to check out from the library, but I was not allowed to buy a new book until I proved to myself that I knew how to read. I was like, bitch, you can't have these books if you can't even fucking read. What's the point? So that's something that I did. I only was allowed to check things out from the library, which sometimes it's annoying, especially when it's a new book. I didn't get to read the new Hunger Games book for so long because I had to wait for it from the library. And I got on the list so quick, but I was still 30th in line. So it took so long, but it was fine. It was worth it. Part of the journey. Moving on. My next tip is if the book sucks, give up It's okay. If a book is not that good, it is probably not going to get better and it's not for you, and it's okay to just stop. There's been a few books that I have just had to stop because it was making me angry about reading. So it's just better to just stop while you're ahead. The writing style is not for you. Move on to something else. It's just going to ruin your reading progress if the book sucks. So it is okay to give up. Another tip is read something that already exists as a different type of media. For example, like a book that was made into a show, a book that was made into a movie, and watching and reading simultaneously can really help you with learning how to understand books again. Especially if it's something that's a little bit more complicated, it's really helpful to see another interpretation of it. And also it helps you with critical thinking because you'll start thinking, well, this is what I would have done differently. If I was the one making this, I think that they didn't do this very well. It's just a very helpful tool that I used when I was first getting back into it. And also finding out the ending is a big incentive to just keep on reading because I want to know what's going on, especially if it's a show that hasn't finished everything yet. You're like, man, I need to know what's going on. I have to read ahead. Reading and watching can also be super helpful. Just remembering how to use your thinking muscle again, your reading and comprehending muscle. It's super helpful for that. And sometimes shows can even enrich the text. There's been a few cases where I genuinely think that the show is better than the book and it builds upon it. Big example for me, Normal People. I am personally not a big fan of Sally Rooney. I'm so sorry. I don't love her writing style. Conversations with Friends actually made me angry. I think I hated it. Not to be dramatic, I think I hated Conversations with Friends. I can understand it's about flawed people doing flawed things, yada. I like that. I didn't like that in that book because it didn't really feel like there was a lot of consequences. These characters just got to be little shits. And I did not enjoy reading about them. Going back to Normal People, I liked that book a little bit more. Still wasn't the biggest fan of the writing, but the show... Oh my gosh, me and my one friend talk about this all the time. Normal People is such an incredible show. If you haven't watched it, so good. Really slow, kind of sad, but it's so human. It is one of those shows that is just humans being humans, and it's so beautifully done. Paul Mescal, Daisy Edgar Jones, incredible performances. Also, they just portray being in love so well. They've convinced me. I see it. I really just think that the show built upon what was already, it was like bones of a story with the book, and then they just fully fledged it out. So much more emotional depth. The show just did it so well. Same with Heated Rivalry. Yes, I gotta talk about it, okay? Book, so fun, great. I would maybe rate it like a 7. It's a good story. Too much smut details though. Goodness gracious, I didn't need to hear all those words. I'm not really a smut reader. I accidentally get thrown into it sometimes with book talk recommendations. Where are the warnings, guys? Where the fuck are the warnings? You just give me this brief rundown and, oh, that sounds like something I'd like. And then why are their clothes off immediately? What are we doing? I need more warnings. I did know what I was getting into with Heated Rivalry though, so that was good at least. I knew what I was going to be reading, but even then I wasn't prepared for some of those scenes. Oh my gosh. But the story is just so good. I love seeing queer romance that is happy and not tragic. I think we're just all so deprived of that. It made it even more exciting. But that's one I do think that the show was better. I liked the book. It was good, but I would rate the show like a 9 or a 10, I think. It's just done so well. They add to the characters. Oh my gosh. And the acting just really sold it to me as well. That would be a great one to read and watch at the same time, I think. That'd be a great way to get back into reading. And speaking of, I have ordered the next book because I do need to know what is going to happen next season. I gotta know. I'm a nosy bitch and I'm so excited. I hear it's like an emotional roller coaster. So I'm not ready, but I'm also very ready. It's gonna be so fun. Ooh, another trick that helped me with my ADHD mind. I'm all over the place, right? I need multiple tasks at multiple times. I can't just be doing one thing. So reading multiple books at a time. I know some people say this is a terrible way to get back into reading, but for me, it worked. Okay, so I had my happy fun book. Usually it was like a fun manga that I was reading. I would have my serious book, right? Usually be a classic that I'm trying to read. And then maybe I would have an educational book. So depending on my mood for that night, I'd be like, I have to read 10 pages of something. but I would get to choose what it is. So it just made it more fun. I do still struggle to read the educational stuff sometimes though. I often go to the more fun options, but it's the thought that's there, right? It's a learning curve. And my final tip is make reading fun. Give yourself rewards, make yourself a very comfy and cute reading area, whatever you need to do to make it an experience, because it's hard to get back into. We have so many things enticing us and pulling us in different directions that we have to make this look appealing. So whatever you have to do to make that happen. For me, heated blanket, maybe 2 to 3 different drink options. You need a water, I need a coffee, and maybe an energy drink. I don't know. And then maybe a snack. And I make myself like a comfy little spot. Me and the cats, we cuddle up, and then I'm having so much fun. It's an experience. Just make reading an experience, whatever that means to you. With that, we've now moved into the fun portion of the video where I'm going to talk about some of the books that changed the game for me, that made me excited about reading again. Who haven't I talked about? So modern books that really got me excited were, first of all, Lucy Foley. These books were so exciting for me. It started with The Paris Apartment. I know, I'm that girly. Listen, it was exciting. It was good. But my favorite is definitely The Hunting Party. This was the one that really got me so excited about reading at the time. This book is fantastic. There's a hot mountain man in this book. Do I need to say more? Right. The Disappearing Act was another fun one that I read. I read a lot of these at this time. There was a lot of suspense mystery books that have like little touches of romance in them, and it was just nice. They're not like, I wouldn't say high art by any means, but they are fun, and I had a good time while reading them, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I also went back to reading a couple YA books that I had really loved when I was younger, because sometimes rereading is easier to get back into as well, because you already know what's going on and it's exciting to revisit the story. So for me, Hunger Games. Listen, I could reread this. I probably have reread the series 5 or 6 times because I just love it so much. It's always good. If you haven't read it, I am so jealous that you could potentially experience reading this series for the first time, because it is just so well done. Also, the font, huge. That's a tip I forgot to add. Get bigger fonted books. For me, I can't read small font books. That's something I've learned about myself. If the font is teeny tiny, I won't read it. I'll try my best. I will work so hard to read it, and I will fail every single time. Just accept that you need large font. When I started getting large font books, things changed for me as well. Just accept it. It's okay. So YA books are awesome because they usually already have bigger font. So that's awesome. Hunger Games, truly incredible. We also got 2 new Hunger Games books right when I started reading again. So it was perfect timing. And I just wanted to show off this copy that I have of Sunrise on the Reaping. Isn't this the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your entire life? I got this for my birthday and I'm still not over it. My sister really came in clutch with this, especially because the rest of my series does look like this, because I have had these since the series came out when I was in middle school. So reread stuff that you already love. It's okay to read YA. I did also read Percy Jackson when I was getting back into reading, and it's just fun, easy reads. I love it. Oh wait, I forgot to talk about Song of Achilles was another one that just got me excited about reading again. This book truly did walk so that Heated Rivalry could run. Truly incredible. I can't believe we haven't gotten a movie from this. A movie adaptation of this book would be so fun. After reading a lot of those and getting back into the process of reading, I did venture into reading classics again, because that's something that I did always love until I stopped reading. Then they got really hard to read, but I eventually worked myself back up, and one that really got me back into it was The Razor's Edge. I didn't think I was going to like this book very much, but I ended up really liking it. So I was looking for something similar to The Great Gatsby, which is a book that I did enjoy reading as well. This book is just great for people that are nosy, because it's just about somebody being nosy into the lives of other people. And I know what that is me. This is a self-insert character. I am also nosy about other people's lives. So I really enjoyed that book. I also read Dracula at the time, and this book got me so excited. This one I actually listened to on audiobook, and I was like, wow, this is truly incredible. And then I had to reread it physical text just because I needed to experience it again. It's so good. I don't know why I hadn't read it sooner, because I've read all the other monster books, Picture of Dorian Gray, Jekyll and Hyde, but I hadn't fully read Dracula, I don't think, until that time. And I was like, what the heck? This is incredible. Wow, what a great book. Now I've read it a few times because I really enjoy it. I think the first classic, though, that I read that really got me excited again was Pride and Prejudice. I reread that one for the first time in years, and I was like, wow, that is a book. And I was like, wow, that is peak literature right there. Truly incredible. Nothing new. People have known this for years, but for me, it was new, and it was very exciting.
Are you laughing at me?
I think that's like all the ones that I read that really, oh, I forgot to mention Perks of Being a Wallflower. That book is great too because it's really short. I think that book is maybe 100 to 50 pages. It's not that long at all. So that one was a really good one to read to get back into it. Definitely a little bit emotionally damaging, but you know what? It's a great book. I never get sick of reading that one. I seriously love reading so much, and I'm so thankful that I found my passion for it again because I really did feel like I was missing a part of myself when I wasn't able to read. It was depressing. To be quite honest about it, it was just, I felt empty. All of the things I was consuming weren't making me feel better, wasn't making me feel like I did anything. And being scared of reading a long text message is actually embarrassing. And that is something I will admit. If I got a text message that was longer than a couple of sentences, I'd be like, oh, geez, oh my God, I don't know how to read that. That's embarrassing. I can't read an article. What do you mean? It was a terrible time, all right? And I am just so excited that I love reading again. And I've also discovered an enjoyment from writing, which is crazy because I was never a writer. That's something I've always hated is writing. But now that I've been reading all of these books and I feel like I have all these thoughts and feelings about it, I just write. I have Obsidian on my computer, which I love Obsidian, by the way. It's just like a little note-taking app. And so I'll just word vomit anything I'm thinking about the book. And it's just so fun. It's like my own little book club. But I'm just so happy. Ow! I am just so happy to be using my brain again. I guess that's the best way to put it.
I'm too busy in a library reading books.
I just truly feel more fulfilled. And if this can help anybody get back into reading, if I can share any of that excitement and fulfillment that I have with anyone else, I hope that I can. It really is kind of scary getting back into it because I just felt stupid. I genuinely was just convinced that I was stupid. I didn't have the ability to read anymore and my brain had just turned to mush. And that's kind of embarrassing to admit. But don't worry, it's not too late. You can get back into it, I promise. Your brain has thoughts. You just gotta retrain it. You just gotta stretch that muscle. I hope this helps someone else. If you have any questions, please let me know. I would love to answer. And if anyone already has a Discord book club that they've started, let me know. I would be very interested. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye. I actually don't want to get up and turn off the camera because I'm so comfy cozy. And Gigi's gonna attack me if I do move. She already has her claws deep into my leg. So I guess we're just stuck here.
Running through my head, running through my head, running through my head.